feel like this needs to be a little closer. Adjusting stuff in the camera is a task. All right, I'm ready now. It took me a minute. I was just vibing to some songs that are basically the soundtrack of my life. Hey everybody. Getting started a little bit early tonight. I think I need to start doing this earlier because well, I've been slacking on my running. And so this morning I ran with the fellas from Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap, and we're going to start running again every morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to stream that run. So if you want to join us, we'll be streaming our run at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time so that everybody can get their day going. So that said, I need to get to bed at a relatively decent time. Yeah, Rome Smith, is this live? It is live. Let's see who else we got. Jeremy Sinclair's in the house. I see you, Jeremy. Let me get these comments up here so I can see. Australia is in the house. Wow, Denise, all the way from Australia. NTI says, we love you, but the problem is I love you more. Stephen Miller got the Rona. I saw that. Andrea, I see you. We're at 878 people. We're going to get started real soon. Just give me a second to share. Like everybody, before we get started talking about the politics and the deeper issues, I do want to talk. I'm going to start off talking about the coalition that we need to defeat Donald Trump. And I also want to point out some of the people that won't be a part of this coalition that you generally expect to be a part of this coalition. So as I share, I ask you that you share. If you're on YouTube in particular, hit that like button. That helps out a lot. That helps us beat the algorithm. And if you're on Facebook, I'm going to do my best to monitor the chat. Facebook is making it impossible for me to add moderators who can get in there to moderate the chat. And I know some people are just basically harassing you all at this point. So I'm going to see if I can multitask, talk to you and moderate the chat so that you can have a good experience. Because truth be told, I've been assigned quite a few trolls. Quite a few trolls have been assigned to me, to my program. And they're here every night like clockwork. So we're just going to start weeding them out like the infestation that they are. So I want to make sure that you guys have a pretty good, good experience. That said, let's take a second to share. I've got a lot of clips to show you just how ridiculous things are right now. Like the infestation. Hang on, I'm trying to get this turned down. We're at the point of absurdity where they are openly advocating for you, not just Donald Trump. I knew that was going to come from Donald Trump. The fact that he wants you to embrace herd immunity. But now we're at the point where this has become the standardized talking point that we're getting from Republicans on a regular basis. That said, I need to help equip you, make sure that you have what you need to push back against that narrative, number one. But then number two, we have to call out their sadism, their sadistic nature, their barbarism. I want to talk about Kamala Harris and the debate tomorrow night, how Mike Pence is just refusing to use plexiglass to surround him. And to me, that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker. His selfishness. He's so, I mean, like it's like they want to prove a point, but part of that point is they want to spread this virus. That's the only thing that honestly, at this point, I believe that they intentionally want to spread the virus because we're still within the window. Unfortunately, we're still within the window of Joe Biden possibly having contracted it from Donald Trump. I have a clip from Fox News that discusses that, not Fox News, I'm sorry, from CNN that discusses the fact that Donald Trump was more than likely infectious and sick with COVID-19 the night of the debate last Tuesday. And of course, they're not going to confirm that. They're not going to give us any information on that. But it's the possibility that Donald Trump gave it not only to his entire staff, but also to Joe Biden. Now, we're hoping that isn't the case, but that's all the more reason for Kamala Harris. I mean, and besides the fact that she's a human being, never mind the fact that she's running for vice president, she should not have to subject herself to this COVID spreading, diseased barbarian who refuses to want to wear protection or basically that's where we're at. They don't want to protect anybody from themselves. So I'm just taking a second to share this. If you would give me a second to share across all the platforms that I have the ability to do that sharing. And we're going to start the conversation. Leave your comments in the comment section. Also over on Twitch, let us know. Let's find out early who we're going to raid. We did a raid last night. Last night we raided Chapo Trap House. We're going to raid somebody different tonight. So make up your mind on Twitch who we are going to raid. And we're going to get started in a second. Again, I'm watching the chat on Facebook, on YouTube. If you would, you have the ability to block people yourselves. So if you get a hold of some of the trolls that have been assigned to my program, go ahead and feel free to block them yourself on YouTube. And Twitch, I think we have some moderators working over there. Twitter is a dog eat dog world, every man for himself. So, I'll just thoughts and prayers for Twitter. Let's begin. I'll share more after I get a video up. I want to begin with a video from Joe Biden. This would be the first time I've ever played a Joe Biden video on my program. My producer sent it to me and I'm like, you know what? This is an important one. This is a video of him talking today about COVID-19 and how none of this should be politicized. Absolutely not a single part of this should be politicized. All right, so let me get these headphones in. Let me know if your volumes are okay. Let's go and take a listen to Joe Biden.
We paid a high price for allowing the deep divisions in this country to impact on how we deal with the coronavirus. 210,000 Americans dead, and the number's climbing. It's estimated that nearly another 210,000 Americans could lose their lives by the end of the year. Enough. No more. Let's just set partisanship aside. Let's end the politics and follow the science. Wearing a mask is not a political statement. It's a scientific recommendation. Social distancing isn't a political statement. It's a scientific recommendation. Testing, tracing, the development and ultimate approval and distribution of a vaccine isn't a political statement. It is a science-based decision. We can't undo what has been done. We can't go back, but we can do so much better. We can do better starting today. We can have a national strategy that puts politics aside and saves lives. We can have a national strategy that will make it possible for our schools and businesses to open safely. We can have a national strategy that reflects the true values of this nation. This pandemic is not a red state or blue state issue. This virus doesn't care whether you live or where you live, what political party you belong to. It affects us all. It will take anyone's life. It's a virus. It's not a political weapon.
Important. That's important. That clip is important. And it's important because of obvious reasons. But the fact that we have to have this conversation, I see you, Facebook. I got you on your guy. The fact that we have to have this conversation is the problem. We are at a stage in this where human life is so disposable to the people who are in power that we have to pause and state the obvious. And the obvious is the fact that the president of the United States, the current president of the United States, is putting the lives of so many Americans at risk. And we've lost 210,000 people already. And the fact that he said that we are in a position to lose another 200,000 Americans by the end of the year. These are lives that did not have to be lost. 210. That's the deal breaker to me. When I talk about the reason I call this the coalition to defeat Trump is because we're going to have some strange bedfellows on this one. This is not going to be the standard coalition, nor can it be. It's going to be uniquely different. And in this coalition, you have people like me who this is my first time playing a positive video of Joe Biden on any of my programs. Anybody who follows me, anybody who knows me, know that I'm much further left than Joe Biden. But because of the unique threat that Donald Trump poses to our life, we can't talk about the we can't talk about the material conditions of people when they're dead, right? We're well beyond talking about a progressive future when we're literally shoveling human lives onto the furnace of Donald Trump's ego. So for me, it's preeminently, it is so urgent that we recognize the coalition that we have to defeat Trump. Now, I've got some polling data from the most recent CNN poll, and it looks like things are going good. But what I want to point out is that there's going to be a coalition of some people to the left, like myself, people in the center, and then people on the right. And as soon as we get rid of Donald Trump, we're probably all going to go back fighting each other pretty intensely, right? That's the reality. But between now and November, which is we're less than a month away, we have to have all hands on deck to get rid of the person who is responsible. There is no one who is more, they want to blame China. No, there is literally no one who is more responsible for 200,000 deaths in this country than Donald Trump. Only other person might be Stephen Miller, and COVID-19 has, came and got him. So I want to play another clip. And this clip, and I'll get your comments on the screen. Keep sending your comments. This clip is, I want to show you in context that it's not just Donald Trump. It's not just this type of sociopathy goes beyond Donald Trump. And the only way he's able to get away with it is because he has collaborators working with them. Check out this one.
This is, I do want to play this. It just came in, Britt. This is Joe Biden on the tarmac just a short time ago being asked about the second debate. Let's watch this.
They're going to be, and I'm not sure that what President Trump is all about now. I don't know what his status is. I'm looking forward to being able to debate him, but I just hope all the protocols are followed, what's necessary at the time.
Do you feel safe in the same room as somebody who still may have COVID?
Well, I think if he still has COVID, we shouldn't have a debate.
So he was asked that question, and that's how he responded, opening the door to potentially not having a debate if he thinks that it's within that time frame that's dangerous, Brett.
Well, look, haven't the medical authorities been telling us all this time that to avoid infection, you stay a certain distance apart and you wear masks, and then even in certain circumstances, you might have a partition that separates you from others. And that way you can get on with life. There's a real need in this country to get on with life. And presidential and vice presidential debates are a part of that. So the idea that if the president is still potentially infected in some way, that you couldn't stage an in-person debate, I think flies on the face of all that we've been told about this disease. Now, if we're now to believe that all the precautionary measures that we've talked about, that people that are carrying the virus can transmit it despite distancing and despite masks and other precautionary measures, then we're in a whole new ballgame. I don't think we are.
This is wild. So that's Britt Hume over on Fox News. Now, Fox News is vacillating these days. They're going back and forth between their extreme right commentators who don't have any concern or regard for human life whatsoever, and the news reporters who are like, this is absurd. Their regular news anchors during the day are really at the point where they're calling out, and I think I have another clip where they're calling out some of these spokespeople for Donald Trump, saying, just pointing out just how ridiculous it is. Here's the thing. It's a great possibility that the president of the United States knew he was COVID positive last Tuesday night, because he was COVID positive last Tuesday night based on the procession of the virus. And so it's a good possibility that one of the reasons he was late to the debate on Tuesday night is because he didn't want to do the test. Right? And because he didn't want to do the test, he put Joe Biden and everybody else in that room at risk. So why should anybody give a sociopath like Donald Trump yet another opportunity to infect them and to make them sick and take their... Joe Biden is 70-something. Joe Biden is not young. Neither is Donald Trump. This man can't have nobody, even if you are young, you can't afford to take a risk with somebody who's shown they are sadistic enough to infect you without even caring. Let me play this other clip. This other clip is from... this is a conversation with one of the campaign members of Donald Trump, basically refusing to admit or deny that Donald Trump knew that he was COVID positive on Tuesday. Let me make sure I get the right one. Is this the right one? Let's see.
President started feeling symptoms, we are told, that was Thursday, right? So that means he was almost certainly infected on Tuesday when he went to the debate, because of the time the CDC has told us it takes between infection and the onset of symptoms. So can you categorically, Brian, say he tested negative on the day of the debate?
I don't have that. I have what I think everyone knows now, that what we've put together in terms of timeline, which is that we know that Hope had tested positive on Thursday. At some point later, the president had that confirmatory test, which he announced to the nation very late at night then. Yep. And so that's the information that we have. But the president had not been obviously showing any symptoms or anything like that. And
I hope my drinking this tea is not too loud compared to the audio from the video. You know whether the president had a negative test on Tuesday. They know this. And the fact that they won't answer it suggests that he knew it also. He knew that he was positive, and he didn't tell anybody. We know for a fact that he knew he was positive and went to do a Republican donor meeting. He went to an event with Republican donors everybody knew at that point. Everybody on his team knew. We found out later on that night. So if he's going to expose Republican donors to COVID-19, do you not think for a second that Donald Trump would have exposed Joe Biden to coronavirus on Tuesday night? Knowingly do so. And this is what makes this issue with with the vice presidential debate tomorrow night so important, because here's the deal. They have demonstrated that they have no regard whatsoever for human life on any level. They've also demonstrated that they would not only put their supporters at risk, they will put their donors at risk, but they'll also put themselves at risk. Donald Trump is so committed to his narcissism and megalomania that he puts his own life at risk. I was going to say constantly, but in such a spectacular fashion that he probably could die. Right there in the White House, right? He could have stayed his butt right in Walter Reed, but because he's so committed to the image of strength, he put himself at risk of dying at the White House. Look at this clown. Let me see if I got him. Look at this is what he did last night. You all saw it, but I want to play it again so that you can remember exactly how ridiculous Donald Trump is and how much he has no regard for his life. And if he has no regard for his own life, do you think he cares about Joe Biden's life or Kamala Harris's life?
I just left Walter Reed Medical Center, and it's really something very special. The doctors, the nurses, the first responders, and I learned so much about coronavirus. And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have the best medical equipment. We have the best medicines, all developed recently. And you're going to beat it. I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I could have left 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I felt great, like better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives. Don't let that happen. We have the greatest country in the world. We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did.
Yes,
and I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune. I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there. Be careful. We have the best medicines in the world, and it all happened very shortly, and they're all getting approved, and the vaccines are coming momentarily. Thank you very much. And Walter Reed, what a group of people. Thank you very much.
All right, that's your boy, Donald Trump. Doesn't care about his own life. He could barely breathe there. You know, again, I know I talked about this last night, but I want to say it again. I kept entertaining the idea that this entire thing was a hoax, that he was trying to get some sympathy. He was trying to get a sympathy bump. And the reason I entertained that idea, because it just did not calculate for me. It did not calculate the possibility that Donald Trump could be so stupid and committed to his own ego, so much so that he would put his own life at risk for the sake of. That's the naive part of me. I'm sorry. I was naive. I was so naive thinking that at least a narcissist would care about their own life. But if you're committed to your narcissism, the image that your narcissism is trying to protect is actually more important than your own life. I have never experienced that level of narcissism before. And guess what? He's the president of the United States. I'm sorry. There is absolutely. I'm going to talk more about the coalition, because the coalition is going to be ugly, but it's going to win. It's got to win. And as soon as it's done winning, a lot of you who are watching me now will probably never watch me again. That's fair, because I'm way to the left of Joe Biden. But between now and next month, we got to have all hands on deck. I'm even going to make space in my rhetorical heart, my political heart, for the Lincoln Project. Because the people at the Lincoln Project, I know they are responsible for George W. Bush and all the war crimes of George W. Bush. So you just know for sure that after the election is over, this coalition is going to fall apart pretty quickly. It's not going to be the Obama coalition for reasons I'll explain momentarily. But it doesn't matter. All that matters right now in this moment, we got a lot to worry about November 4th. Joe Biden gets elected. There's still a lot of work to be done. It's not going to fix itself. We can't all take a vacation and go to sleep, because if no other reason, Trumpism will still be here. Trumpism will still be here. All right, let's get a couple more comments on the screen. In New York Mets 2073 said no. No, not the Lincoln Project. I like Nestor's question better. He said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. No, the enemy of my enemy is still my enemy. But you know what? We got a common enemy. So we're going to commonly work together to get rid of that enemy. And as soon as we're over, I'm coming for the Lincoln Project. As soon as it's over. Matter of fact, they're going to come for me, because I kind of roasted them really good on Twitter. Let me play one more clip before we get into the conversation in earnest. I want to play this clip of Tom Cotton. And I want to play this clip because I want you to see with clarity the fact that the problem doesn't go away with Trump. We got to get rid of Trump. But we got a whole lot more to fight, even after if COVID-19 has its way with Trump, the problems of conservatism don't go away, because it is alive and well in his sycophants like Tom Cotton.
The president started feeling symptoms, we are told was Thursday, right?
That's not the one.
This is, I do want to play this. Nope. That just came in, Britt. This is Joe Biden on the tarmac.
Where is my dude, Tom Cotton?
A week from tomorrow, Maria. And then on the Senate floor later this month, first off, I think every senator who's currently tested positive or is in isolation will be back to work under normal conditions, as other senators have been as well, like Rand Paul or Tim Kaine. But if that's not the case, Maria, there is a long and venerable tradition of
Watch
ill
this.
or medically infirm senators being wheeled in to cast critical votes on the Senate floor. Most recently, Robert Byrd in 2009 repeatedly rolled in a wheelchair just months before his death to vote for Obamacare. So I'm confident that every senator will be in attendance when his or her vote is needed.
So what?
Not if they're dead. Okay? Not if they're dead. But the context of this is he's talking about Amy Coney Bryant. Amy Coney Bryant is an extreme religious zealot. And I could say, I mean, anybody could say that. You could say it if you want to. I say that as a person who's a Christian, right? Amy Coney Bryant is an extreme religious zealot who defines her liberty just like Tom Cotton defines his liberty, which is how they can restrict the liberties of others. They don't see liberty based on how they can live their life. They base their liberties on how they can control your life. And they literally define oppression by not being able to control your life. Amy Coney Bryant, who is the nomination, who is a nominee for the Supreme Court. That's what Tom Cotton was talking about. Tom Cotton is so committed to his religious zealotry and his extreme conservatism that he's talking about wheelchairing in COVID positive senators in order to fast track someone who should not have even have been nominated in the first place, but certainly not this close to an election. Now, that said, at the core of it is the fact that conservatism defines its liberty on being able to limit yours. This is what we're fighting against. It goes way beyond Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just the grossest manifestation of it in the sense that he has absolutely no shame. He has no regard for the American institutions. He does not care if he burns this country to embers for the sake of his ego. So that's why Donald Trump is a unique threat above and beyond anything else that we have seen in our lifetimes. Got into a huge argument with one of my co-hosts for the clickbaity political thirst trap. You can catch us. We're now a morning show. And we got into argument originally about Ronald Reagan versus Donald Trump and how I said, absolutely, Donald Trump is worse than Ronald Reagan. He disagreed because of all the things that Ronald Reagan did over his 8 years, including ignoring and exacerbating the problem with HIV, with the Iran-Contra scandal, with bringing Margaret Thatcher-style neoliberalism to the United States of America. He made a great point. Then immediately after that episode, that Sunday, I believe, it came out that Donald Trump knew how dangerous COVID-19 was all the way back in February. He knew exactly that it was airborne. He knew that it hurt everybody, especially seniors. He knew, and he played it down to the tune of 210,000 people. It didn't take him 4 years to kill 210,000 people. It took him 5 months. Now, Ronald Reagan, may he rest in hell. I'm sorry if any of y'all are here fans of Ronald Reagan. I just keep it 100. May he rest in hell. Ronald Reagan did all of his damage over the course of 8 years. Okay? George W. Bush, who has a special place in hell for all of the Iraqis he killed erroneously so because he wanted to go to war and 9/11 was just a justification for it. He's got a special place in hell, but he did all of his damage over 8 years. If you give Donald Trump 4 more years, he has proven to be able to kill 210,000 citizens. What do you think he's going to do on the international stage? What do you think he's going to do when he gets tired of killing Americans? He's going to go across seas and start his own war or continue the wars that George W. Bush started. Let's not forget. I know if y'all see all this droplets coming out of my mouth, I know y'all are like, thank God we are online. But even if I saw all the spittle coming out of somebody's mouth, I'd be like, oh, I hope he's, anyway. It's just a different time. Like I see my energy just spraying all over the camera, and I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about not spreading COVID-19. But if you give Donald Trump, yes, I vacillate back and forth between extreme seriousness and extreme silliness because you got to laugh or not crying in this era. If you give Donald Trump 4 more years, he is going to super exceed Ronald Reagan's 8 years. He's going to super exceed. He's already on track. He's not just killing people. He's still droning people in the Middle East. He's still dropping bombs in the Middle East. He's still waging the same number of wars that your boy George W. Bush started. He hasn't brought home the troops. He hasn't done any of those things. He is still doing exactly what all these other presidents did, but now he's killing 210,000 Americans and possibly another 200,000 by January. We cannot afford to give a sociopath like that 4 more years. That's why I'm taking it on the chin. You know how many people I saw? Actually, there was one comment I really want to get on the screen because I really appreciate this one. From Mara Mayhem, wonderful name, on YouTube. She said, a lot of us ride or die hard leftists are with me. And I put that on there because I want you to, like, I voted for Bernie Sanders. I campaigned for Bernie Sanders, used my platform. I made video. I was all in. Okay. But let me tell y'all something. You can disagree with me. Whoever you decide to vote for, that's your prerogative. But if you ask me, what I see is a clear and present danger to our literal lives, to the lives of black people, not only through white supremacy, but by how reckless he has been with COVID-19. Black people and brown people are bearing the brunt of this pandemic. Poor people next, bearing the brunt of this pandemic, right? If you ask me to make my threat assessment of who is the greatest threat to human life, not to progress, but to human life. Yes, he is a threat to progress, but you can't even worry about progress if you're dead. You can't even worry about Medicare for all if you're dead. You can come back from bankruptcy. You can't come back from death. Okay? America can come back from neoliberalism. America cannot come back from fascism. And Donald Trump is a fascist. And I put that comment on the screen because I just want to make it clear, like me doing this, you just like if you never watched me before, this is just a tad bit painful for me, right? This is difficult for me because I am so far to the left of Joe Biden. It's not even funny. Joe Biden would dismiss me as a socialist, but this isn't about Joe Biden. This is about saving America to live to fight another day. And we can pick up, we can be enemies again after this. We can all be enemies again after this. But right now, we got to get rid of Donald Trump. Let's get your comments on the screen. Let me go to my producer's chat because I am missing all of the super chats that I'm supposed to be paying attention to. And Twitch, I want to give all the shout outs to everybody on Twitch. Leave your comment in the comment section. I'm going to get as many as I possibly can. I am filibustering until I can pull up my document that my wonderful producers are filling out as we speak. While I pull that up, I want to put, hey, check me out, Rob Big Good. Thank you, man. We got 1,100 people watching on YouTube. Come on, let's get 750 likes on YouTube. I want to see that. Let's get that. Dave on Facebook said, Donald Trump is absolutely a fascist. And I love your sticker. He's already voted. Vote early. I think the number jumped to a few million people who have already voted early. That is serious. That is an accomplishment, and we need to keep doing it. Mara says, I feel that pain. It is. It's very difficult. I'm taking it on the chin to do this. Now, never mind the fact that it's really cool that we got like 2,500 people watching and everything. That's cool and fine. But I'm taking it on the chin because I do disagree with Joe Biden on a lot. I do support the Green New Deal. I do support Medicare for all, right? I do oppose American imperialism. But I can't do anything about any of those things if I'm dead. If the recklessness of Donald Trump infecting and killing another 500,000 people, it's a good possibility that somebody I love would be in that. And I think we have a moral responsibility to fight the clear and present danger that is right in front of us. And then we could all go back to being enemies after that. Here we go. I got the document open. Let's get these super chats. Appreciate all the super chats. Kimberly McNaught said, Aussies want Trump gone. Conservative leaders down under have adopted Trumpian ways. See, this is important. Thank you, Kimberly. This is important because here's the thing. American imperialism, where we gallivant across the globe and we drop bombs for profit, we do that. Every administration does that. That's incontrovertible. That's what we do. Here's the thing. Donald Trump is exporting American terrorism through white supremacy and white nationalism. And this is not a docile ideology. This is an ideology that has nuclear armaments. It isn't using them because right now they're using their foot soldiers to drive over us in Charlottesville and to gun us down in Kenosha, right? And to beat us in the streets in Portland. So Donald Trump is continuing the same exact imperialistic legacy of every other president before him. He is actually expanding on it. He is dropping more bombs. He's dropping more drones, right? He is separating more families at the border, instituting an intentional practice of the intentional practice of taking children from their parents and giving them to Christian families for adoption. This is an intentional practice that began underneath the Trump administration. So he is doing everything that you hated about every other president, compounding it, expanding it, and adding to it the exportation and the domestic terrorism of white supremacy. Nicole on YouTube said, did you hear the theory that Trump hasn't been getting tested the entire time? That's why the White House won't give a date on his last negative test. They simply don't have one. That is very interesting. So it's very possible that he's just been lying about it. I do not put it past him. He's that kind of sociopath. Black Corvo on YouTube said, I have a feeling that the Republicans, consciously or not, are using the virus for genocide. They know who can't get treatment and survive it. Poor people. Black people, brown people, marginalized communities, poor peoples that are disproportionately represented by black, brown, and LGBT people. Not that they are mutually exclusive, but because that is a unit within itself that bears the brunt of American capitalism and America's healthcare industry, right? These are all targets of this religious zealotrous dogma that is at the core of Tom Cotton and Amy Coney Barrett. Donald Trump is just the useful idiot who doesn't really want to do any reading, so he'll take any suggestion they give him. They brought him Amy Coney Barrett, and he was like, okay, she's good. But at the core of it is a religious zealotry that would attack all of us and leave us out here to die. Trump is losing Fox, according to David Abels. The ship is sinking. Benny Loco said, vote blue, vote blue. K-Love said, it's like having unprotected relations with someone you know is HIV positive. I wouldn't go. Talking about the debates. I actually kind of made that allusion in my show earlier today. It's like knowing. You know, whatever your diagnosis is, right? You know you have a sexually transmittable disease. And you're saying, I won't sleep with you unless you come unprotected. This is the sociopath. This is the sociopathy of the Trump administration. They want this only. If you don't want to put a barrier between you and the other person, you're telling me that you want to spread it. Whenever I go out and I'm wearing a mask and I check before I get out of the car. I look inside of the store, the package store, and I look and I see who's wearing a mask. And if I see people without masks, I'm not going in. And every time I see a person without a mask, it's generally like an old white person. And you know what I think in that moment? I feel like you want to be able to spread this. You desire to get us sick. Prove me otherwise. Put on a damn mask. Benny Loco said, vote the monsters out. Blue wave. Money Lou 78 said, thank you for the super chat. Said, I wish Trump knew what he was doing. I lost you. There it is. We are taking care of him, and he does not care about the middle lower class. I mean, yeah, like Moni, I'm not trying to be coy here, but yeah, like he has no regard for. We're at the. He cares so little for us. He cares so little for us that when he could win re-election by a landslide by instituting some bailout, we'll talk about that next. He could give us a bailout and win a lot of votes, but he cares so little about us that he would rather risk losing this election by abandoning us. He gets more joy out of abandoning the middle class and the working class. So it's not even just a matter of him not caring about the middle class. He gets some type of sadistic pleasure out of hurting us. Because if he would just sign some legislation to take care of the working class and the middle class during this pandemic, he could have won easily. You see how self-destructive bigotry and hatred really makes you? It makes you really stupid. JY on YouTube said Donald Trump is the worst president of all time. DA Champs 15 said, hey Ben, I love the show. How's your opinion on voter shaming change as we get closer to the election? Some progressives are still on the fence. Listen, I'm actively doing my personal best to not actively vote shame you. But I want people to be sure about something. No. Before I go to that, I am actively trying to not vote shame anybody. Whatever you choose to do, you choose to do. But don't interpret my advocacy and me using my platform to draw attention to the unique threat that Donald Trump is. Don't interpret that, and I know you're not doing it. I'm just saying it to other people. Don't interpret me using my voice as vote shaming you. No, this has nothing to do with you. I'm talking to the people who want to hear what I have to say. So I'm not vote shaming anybody by saying, listen, I think everybody needs to get it and make sure we get rid of Donald Trump, right? If that's not your cup of tea, then by all means, I haven't said anything to shame you. Like I won't even know that that's your thing until you bring it to me and ask me. So it's not about, sometimes people are offended to even hear your advocacy, your positive advocacy to get rid of Donald Trump. They don't even want to hear that. And they take that as vote shaming. I can't help that because that's not really how life works. Colin Ross said, Ben, you should try to set up a talk with Dr. Cornel West. I've been trying for years. I could try a little harder though. Truth be told, I could try a little harder. Masha E said, it's awful how numb we are to the horrors. It is very depressing. Let me get to a couple more comments. I think I saw a comment online. Rob with another fire comment over on YouTube. It's not voting for Biden. It's voting against the tangerine Nazi. Absolutely. I will put this on the screen. It's passion, not shaming. Up the snowflakes. Yeah, I'll put that up there. Buck said, ain't rewarding that lot with the vote. And man, my dude, that's your, or my friend, I don't know your gender. That's your prerogative. But you're here. And if so long as you don't take our advocacy as an attack on you, that's cool. If you do, that's cool too. I ain't worried about that. Like, you can do what you want to do, but I just need people to understand that if it bothers you so much to hear people advocating against Donald Trump, that you define it as voter shaming, then the truth of how communication works and who's the subject and who's the subject of a sentence, like who's the focus of the sentence, suggests that conversation isn't even about you. So you're getting offended, not you personally, but people who think our advocacy against Trump is an attack on them. You're getting offended about something that isn't even addressing you. I'm talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about the unique threat that he is. I'm talking about 210,000 people already dead and the fact that we could be at 500,000 by the new year. I'm talking about the fact that he doesn't give a damn about working people. I'm talking about the fact that he's expanded America's empire. I'm talking about the fact that he's expanded the drone program. I'm talking about the fact that he has expanded the military-industrial complex, and the fact that he's exporting white supremacy, and the fact that he's inflaming white supremacy here in the United States, and the fact that he is an inciter of domestic terrorism that is a direct threat to black and brown people. That's what I'm talking about. And nowhere in that sentence did I hear me address somebody who's refusing to vote for Joe Biden. That entire sentence was about why I'm voting against Donald Trump. Serena on Facebook. I wish this was true. It is definitely a great sentence. Mask it or casket. I wish that were true. The reality is if they don't wear a mask, they could put one of us in a casket. And that's why they don't wear a mask, because they have no regard for our lives. That's the evil nature of this. That's the malevolence that we're fighting against. But I do love the sentence. I mean, I love the sentiment, and we should say it anyway because people will get the point. So I'm gonna put it back up without challenging you, because let's just start saying it. Mask it or casket. We can get to the nuances on the show, but on social media, mask it or casket. Let's see. Let me get to Twitch. Twitch, I have not forgotten you. And Twitch, I don't want you to forget about me. Make sure you let me know who we are rating. Who are we rating tonight? And then tomorrow night, I am going to be hosting or co-hosting the Young Turks live stream of the debate, and I will be with them until midnight. Now, if y'all are really rowdy about it, I just took it back to the 99-2000. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that came out. I just really took it to Master P. Y'all forgive me. But if y'all are still down to do a stream after midnight, let me know, and I can make an exception on my late night. Let's go to Twitch. Over on Twitch, we have a tier 1 that was gifted by Smack Talk 94 to Urban Meyer. Thank you so much for gifting that subscription. Hottie Meter subscribed at tier 1. Jeff Wardolph, thank you for cheering, man. I appreciate those bits. CA70, thank you for cheering. Lil Moni subscribed at tier 1. And for anyone who's wondering, twitch.tv is where we're streaming also. If you want to support what we do here, you can go there and you can use your Prime membership. If you have Amazon Prime, you can use your Prime membership and gift the subscription. It's like $5. It doesn't cost you anything. They take it from your Amazon $99, or what is it, like $112 a year now? I forget how much it is, right? They take $5 out of that. You don't have to pay any extra money, and it allows you to support this program. So you can go to, or this stream, and you can go to twitch.tv and support this program for free. Just assign your Prime membership to us, and it takes money out of Jeff Bezos's hand and puts it into this program. Here's some comments from Twitch. I want to get you guys, you all in here. And let me expand this. Chainsaw667 said, "Goal, may we all survive COVID 45. No, seriously, like I know that they're tongue in cheek with that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I am of the utmost concerned that we can all survive this. COVID-19 changed my calculus. I'm not going to lie to you all. As horrible as Donald Trump is, I don't know. Don't cut off the stream. I'm just going to be honest with you. Or you can cut off the stream, whatever. It's fine. Other people will come. If it was not for Donald Trump's gross mishandling of COVID-19 early on, I don't know that I could have supported two people in particular were on my no-fly zone. Michael Bloomberg. I'm not going to tell the story. I'm not. Michael Bloomberg and Joe Biden. I'll be quite frank with you. I've done radio interviews across the country. Like, nope, not doing it. But then COVID-19 hit. And you saw that the president not only revels in white supremacy, but you saw that he is actively willing to kill you. Period. There's no maneuvering around that sentence. There's no need for me to soften that up. That's not hyperbolic. That's not exaggeration. Donald Trump is more than willing to actively do things that will get you killed. And because I saw this pandemic as a destabilizing force that could rip America's stability, internal stability, completely to shreds. And it was COVID-19 back in January. I saw the president making February. I saw the president making intentional decisions that started exacerbating. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is when it was crystal clear that I don't care if it was Amy Klobuchar. I don't care if it was Rip Van Winkle. I don't care if it was Lucifer's nephew. I shouldn't say anybody's name after that because you're going to assume I think that they're Lucifer's nephew. So I'm not going to list anybody else. I don't care who they are. We have a president who's actively making decisions that will get you literally dead. Then I lost 2 friends to COVID-19. Then on my social media timeline, Zoom funeral, Zoom funeral, Zoom funeral, Zoom funeral, over and over again. Another Zoom funeral, another Zoom funeral, over and over again. Now, these people weren't people close to me, but the people who died weren't close to me, but the people who were mourning them were close to me. And it's almost as if Donald Trump looked at an opportunity to do the right thing, which would have secured his reelection, which is take care of the American people. That's all he had to do to win reelection. And this sadistic, malevolent barbarian chose to inflame the situation so that more people would die, so that more white supremacists would march through the street, so that more police officers would kill black people. He's been bad these first 3 years without question. And a lot of you are like, well, you should have been clear about that before. I get that, right? I got my own personal calculus. Don't you try to vote shame me. I ain't going to vote shame you, right? Stay in your lane. I'm an idiot, guys. I'm an idiot. Donald Trump has been horrible over these last 3 years. But it was a devil that we got used to. In year 4, 2020, Donald Trump, every decision he made exacerbated the weaknesses of this country. Killing us with COVID-19. Pushing us to the brink of civil war. See, the first 3 years, he was just a racist. He was a white supremacist. Kind of used to that in America as a black man. But this man has not only killed 210,000 people with COVID-19, but he is pushing us to the brink of civil war. Recruiting the Trump army. That's a 2020 thing, right? He is asking 50,000 Americans to show up to the polls. That's a 2020 thing. I don't remember him saying any of that before 2020, but as soon as 2020 came around, he has shown that he is willing to take American democracy down with it. In addition to 500,000 to 1 million lives. He doesn't care. So that changed my calculus. It changed my calculus because of 2 reasons. One, my children deserve an opportunity to have a stabilized America, and I don't care about what anybody else has to say about it. I don't care. If you think America deserves the judgment of God and that it should be burned in a holy war, kiss my black ass, because my children deserve a stabilized America because at least they will have a chance to rectify all the problems of America. I'm not taking my kids and trying to run to another country as a refugee because we ignored the existential threat that Donald Trump is. I ain't doing it. Now, if it comes to that, and we've done everything that we could do to stop him, but it still comes to that, then so be it. I would get my children and get my family out of here, and I'll stay here, and I'll do my part. But what kind of a human being, what kind of a father would I be if the very first thing I do, and the very first opportunity that I have to get rid of a fascist, who is going to destabilize this country to the point where we may have to flee this country. What kind of a monster of a father would I be if the very first thing that I could do to get rid of this man was to vote and not do that? And then the second thing is that I want us to live. We got too much work to do. We have too many good things to do. There are at least 175,000 people who did not have to die. And those are lives that are cut short. Those are purposes in life that were cut short. Those are people who share the same greatness that you and I share. The same magnificence of the human consciousness. Gone. And there's no coming back from that. I want all of that from my friend who said our goal is to survive COVID 45. All of that came from that because ultimately at the end of the day, I want us to survive. I want us to live. I want us to breathe. I want us to get back to a sense of normalcy on top of which I can go on about my business. You can go on about your business, whatever your business is. My business is fighting on behalf of marginalized people. My business is fighting against greed. My business is fighting against injustices. That's my business. And I can't go about my regular business when I'm having to avoid a plague that other countries have done a good job with. I want you, whatever you do after this, I want you to survive. And your chances of survival are cut tremendously low with this sociopath in chief in the White House. Question mark said, debate Jamal Thomas about voting. No. And I mean that with all due respect, but no. I got too much work to do. I'm not going to change his mind. I'm not looking to change anybody's mind. But I'm not going to run my blood pressure up arguing with somebody who whatever they believe. I'm not even going to describe what he believes or what they believe. I'm not going to make it about an individual. Do you? This is not some intellectually stimulating conversation that we could sit around and sip coffee and have a robust debate. This is a matter of life and death for me. It might not be for him. It might not be for other people. Other people might think I'm exaggerating. 210,000 dead bodies would disagree, but I digress. So no, I'm not going to expend that energy. Moni Luz, 78, said, my friend that died not because of COVID, but the fact that her family was not able to be with her breaks my heart because of COVID. Whiskey Eye said, don't call it a vote for Joe. If you're like me and despise him, call it a vote for America. And see, when I say this coalition, here's the coalition that you got, that I need Biden, like people who really love Joe Biden, people who really love Kamala Harris. I don't. Okay. And I need you to be okay with that, especially if you're in the stream. Now you can go back and you don't have to watch the stream in November 4th. Between now and November 4th, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to use my voice, use my platform to do everything that we can to get rid of Donald Trump. But I identified with Whiskey Eye. He said, don't call it a vote for Joe. If you're like me and despise him, call it a vote for America. That's the coalition that you have. It's a coalition of the willing, but begrudgingly. And that's fine. Like, we all have our reasons and our justifications, but we all have seen clearly that Donald Trump is an existential threat. So you're going to have people supporting this ticket because they're supporting American democracy, because they see that Donald Trump will end American democracy. So that coalition is not going to be a lot of people who are happy and joyous and sitting around telling stories about the candidate and the vice presidential candidate. No, it's going to be a lot of people who are like, all right, F it. Let's get rid of Donald Trump. And that's okay. That's okay. Don't require our enthusiasm. Just appreciate our commitment to preserving this democracy. And, you know, I even hate to use this phrase. I've started, so now I'm going to say it. It was a horrible program, but I think it's applicable here. Despise the program. Don't ask, don't tell. We should never have had that. But don't ask us if we like Joe Biden. Don't ask us if we're fans of Kamala Harris. That's immaterial. And then I would suggest on our side, don't tell them whether you like Joe Biden. Let's just avoid that conversation right now, because it could lead to all kind of divisiveness, and we got to have all hands on deck to get rid of Donald Trump. That's my motto. That's what I believe, and I'm paying a price for it. Losing like 1,000 people a day on social media, but that's cool. It's cool. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. It's a rounding error. I'm sorry. All right, let's go over here. Do we have any troll comments? No troll comments. I'm checking on notes from my producers, and I want to go over to get. I keep saying Bryant. I keep saying Bryant. I'm thinking of Jamal Bryant, probably the preacher. Barry, thank you for the correction. Okay, I got a whole lot of new news over here on the left-hand side. I'm going to come over to that in a second. Let me just give a couple of people a few more shout-outs. Shout out to H.G. Wells, Smack Talk 94, Trina Photo for all the cheers and all the bits. Smack Talk just gifted another sub to Was Ha. Thank you for that. Selena subscribed to Tier 1. Anastasia Beaverhouse is cheering over there. Redeemed High and Mighty. Jamerson said, good day, comrades. Hope you're all well. Andy from Ohio said, I got them dishes done in time. I got to do some dishes after this. Lil Moni said, I wish he understood that he knows we are paying for his recovery. Most of us cannot afford it. I wish he knew. Live that one up for a second. Lil Moni said, I wish Donald Trump understood that he knows we are paying for his recovery. Most of us cannot afford it. He knows, and he doesn't care. Terry Barry, it's everyone who isn't rich, not just the poor. I know it's disproportionately affecting groups you mentioned, but it's seriously everyone but the rich. Everyone but the rich. Right. And that's why I made sure I included poor people, middle class people. I mean, I know a couple of rich people who are dying, maybe a handful, but I haven't, who's a major superstar? I know there was that one Olympian athlete. And it was I can't remember his name because I really didn't know his sport. I didn't know him beforehand. But that brother went through, and I'm not just talking about black folks when I say brother in this case, because I believe he was, I don't know what he was, but I know he wasn't black. He went through 2 amputations. He went through a lung transplant. He was in the hospital for months. And he died. And I know that story replicates itself, and it's especially replicating itself in impoverished communities. Essential workers, people who are risking their lives for minimum wage plus $1 hazard pay. Those are the folks who are getting hit the hardest. H.G. Wells, he doesn't even care about the safety of his youngest son. Absolutely agree. Another socialist on Twitch said, did you hear Trump ended negotiations for a new COVID aid plan? Yes, we talked about that a little bit. We're going to talk about it a little more depending on how much time we have left. Look up Project, this is from Mean Beans on Twitch. Look up Project Dark Winter and the Phoenix program. Okay, I'll look it up. Nefty Borika said on Twitch vote for Biden. The end justifies the mean. Morally wrong actions are sometimes necessary to achieve morally right outcomes. Actions can only be considered morally right or wrong by virtue of the morality of the outcome. All right, Nefty Borika. We have to chat more. Anastasia Rose on Twitch said, in your opinion, which candidates should we donate to, i.e. cash donations, phone, text banking? I would definitely look at candidates who have the possibility of winning, especially Senate races. Some of them are cash flush, so make sure you're not donating to somebody who has all the money, and find a Senate race or a congressional House race that is competitive and donate there. It's going to take a little bit of research, but there are a lot of PACs that have done that research for you. You can find some summaries of who is the best target. And I would say phone bank for any of the candidates who stand a really good chance of winning because your time is limited, and then get as close as you can to those who are aligned with your political philosophy. I like Jamie Harris. Is it Harrison? I feel like, yeah, it's Harrison. Jamie over in South Carolina. It looks like he stands a good chance of beating Lindsey Graham. I don't know that he needs the cash because they got a hell of a fundraising campaign going over there, but he might need the phone banking. So check him out. Nefti Barikwa said, vote for Biden. Okay, we covered that one. Jamerson said, understand your role, comrade. Doing the best I can. Necro Merlin said, I'm voting for Biden, but I hope someday I will no longer have to vote for the lesser of two evils, as Nina Turner calls it, half a bowl of shit. I need all of the people who are excited about Joe Biden to consider the fact that all of us on this side of the equation are seriously swallowing our pride, putting our beef to the side. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know if I should say this because some of y'all might be a part of K-Hive, right? But some of us have just said, you know what? Whatever social media spat we got in with K-Hive, we're not going to worry about that because it's more important that Kamala and Joe Biden win. That's the coalition. It's a coalition of the willing, but a lot of us are doing it begrudgingly. And it's because we see the seriousness of this moment. And I'm telling you, ask anybody. If you ask your favorite political commentator slash, I don't know, somebody who's social media head. Ask somebody who's relatively involved or social media famous. Ask them about me. Most of your friends who are in those spaces, they don't have a good opinion of me. That's because when I fight hella hard. And as hard as you see me fighting against Donald Trump right now, I fight against the Democratic establishment. Let's just say I'm blocked by some very powerful Democrats. Very, very powerful Democrats. I only tell you this, not so that you can hurry up and cut off the stream. I tell you this because we understand. Yeah, we get it. And I think, honestly, truth be told, I think we get it more so than some of the people in the Democratic establishment. But we're not going to argue about that right now. A lot of us are taking it on our own chin because we got to get this sadistic megalomaniac who will see the Democratic establishment die just as quick as he would see leftists and socialists die. He would send the Proud Boys to crush the vote of people I label as the black misleadership class. He will send Proud Boys to go attack them just as much as he will send federal agents to kill some of my comrades. He did that. That's not hyperbole. I will always bring up Michael Reinhold's name on this show as long as my brain is sharp enough to remember his name, because Donald Trump sent federal agents to kill our comrade. So the stakes are high as they have ever been. And no matter what beef we have had with the Democratic establishment, it isn't going away. It's just a parlay. It's just an armistice. It's just a cessation of hostilities until November 4th. And on November 4th, we get back to normal. Win, lose, or draw. But for right now, there is a fascist in the White House that is killing us. And we have a moral response. I can't speak for nobody else, but I feel like I have a moral responsibility to do everything within my power, short of getting arrested by the Secret Service, to get this man out of office. All right, let me see. I've got some breaking. Well, it's probably a little late at this point. Trump says that he is declassifying Russia and Hillary documents. And then he backtracks, saying that it's already done. He's desperate. We did cover the Biden clip on COVID-19. I'm going to just read a couple of headlines here. Yes, the polls. Here's the other half of the coalition. We'll go over that in a hot second. Let me get your comments on the screen from the main chat room. Yeah, just me on YouTube. I love this one. We also have to vote out all the Senate Republicans. They helped Trump with this corruption. South Carolina needs to vote out Lindsey Graham. Beating Trump, but not getting the Senate is analogous to holding the line. We will have an entrenched fight for the next 4 years. It'll be a victory for human life. But if we could beat Trump and take back the Senate, then let me say it like this. I'm gonna put fire to the feet of everybody, and y'all gonna hate me so bad because we won't have an excuse. If we get the Senate, maintain the House, and get the White House, we will not have an excuse not to do what is morally right. We can only dream. That and Mitch McConnell is perhaps the most dangerous person in America because he's not as stupid as Donald Trump. He's actually smart. So we need to get him out of the Senate majority position. He's been there since 2008, 12, 2010. Had to be 2010 because he said he wanted to make Obama a one-term president. So he's been there for 10 years in the Senate majority position. If my memory and my math serves me correctly. It's time for him to go because he has been a blight on this country. Let's get a couple more comments. Yeah, Masha E, thank you for saying this because I keep saying November 4th. And the fact of the matter is what I mean by that, and I need to be specific because I think it's an important message. Thank you. We need to set the expectation that we're not going to know who the president is at least for a week. At least, and I think that's lowballing it. It's not going to be election night. At a minimum, it's going to be election week with the possibility of being election month. So I'm going to change my language on that very specifically. We need to change everyone's expectation. It is not election night. Do not look for a winner on election night because we have so many mail-in ballots. Donald Trump may even appear to have won on election night. He's going to want to declare victory on election night. So to that end, we're going to hold off on all the hostilities between far socialist left like me, which, by the way, is absolutely the way to be. It is a rejection of greed, which is the cornerstone of evil in this country. And if you would come on over here with me, then I can show you that what we are fighting for is loving, kind, moral, and just, and simply the right thing to do. But I digress. We're going to put that to the side, not the morality, but the fight between the Democratic establishment and leftists, far leftists like me. And we're going to put it to the side until after we get the results. And if that takes a week, it takes a week. If that takes a month, it takes a month. And we're gonna make sure everybody has that expectation because Donald Trump is going to try to manipulate that. He's actively trying already. All right. We still have 1919 people. It was totally cool. I love this from Vision. I hit the wrong one. Boy, y'all throw this in here. Vision, I can't find your comment now because so many people are commenting. But on YouTube, he said we are 230 likes away from 1,000. I don't ask for a lot. Can y'all get me to 1,000 likes on YouTube? Facebook, I know you guys are showing out. You guys are always outperforming yourselves. I need to check to see if there's anybody else I need to block. I have not checked in about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm sorry. There's 1,300 comments since I was last over here to check. So reply to this pinned comment with names of people, tag people I need to block on Facebook. All right. We still have 729 on Facebook. That's love. That's love. Okay. This is I don't think she's trolling, but I think she may be misinformed. Marina on Facebook wants to know, all you cult people suggesting that we're in a cult, explain why Trump having COVID would openly put his own people at risk on purpose. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be kind. I think the best way to define a cult is the extent to which you're willing to go for your leader. Joe Biden's not my leader. Bernie Sanders is not my leader. Truth, justice, equality, opportunity for all. Things that are morally right. Those are the things that guide me. Now, if you think that's cultish, then I don't know what to tell you. The projection of the first part of your question is fascinating. I don't doubt that you honestly, sincerely believe it. It is fascinating in almost like a car wreck sense, where you drive by and you just have, that's why I just had to put it on the screen. My screen is over here. Because the projection, the level to, unless I'm just completely and totally misreading your comment, because that happened last night and it's possible. But let's say I'm reading your comment right. Donald Trump supporters have demonstrated they are willing to kill themselves and contract COVID-19 by going to an indoor rally with 30, 40,000 people with no one wearing a mask, no one social distancing. That's the extent to which they're willing to go for Donald Trump. And you call us cult people? Herman Cain loved Donald Trump so much that he went to the Tulsa rally, contracted COVID-19 and died about 2.5 weeks later. That's commitment even unto death. But we're the cult. Donald Trump got out of that. I could only have to start there. Donald Trump knew that he had COVID-19 and went to a Republican fundraiser and put all of the Republicans in that room at risk. He knowingly did that. To answer the heart of your question, people around him who were aware of the fact that he had been tested positive allowed that to happen. Donald Trump got into a, literally, I use this phrase a lot, rhetorically, but literally got into a hermetically sealed SUV, which means no air could get in and no air could get out. No fresh air could get in and none of the infected could get out. And put the lives of his Secret Service agents at risk. Now, unless I'm reading your question wrong, which is a possibility because it's late at night, but are you seriously asking how it is that this could be intentional when everything that I've listed so far has been 100% intentional? Couple that with the fact that, unless I read your comment wrong, you think that we are a cult? I've spent the majority of this episode trying to explain why I have been willing to lose thousands of supporters and why Biden supporters, people who genuinely like Joe Biden, should find room in their emotional space to accept the fact that there's going to be a lot of people who just reluctantly and begrudgingly go out there and vote for Joe Biden. I'm asking everybody to ascend to a level of maturity that you just don't find in cults. I know I don't have to take this much time with it, but hopefully there's some other conservatives in the audience tonight. No. Actually, I'm done. I'm done. Oh, man, I'm done. Reading a couple more comments. Eric Doneland on Facebook. I want you to know that I see your comment. I'm not going to put your comment on screen, but I see your comment. I'm done. I'm not going to go back to that, but I think I am. The projection. To think that you are free when you are actually in bondage. To think that those of us who can see clearly, it's like QAnon. My producers were like, are you going to talk about QAnon? And I'm like, yes, I am. Facebook finally has banned all of QAnon. If you identify with QAnon and you represent QAnon, they have been banned. Finally. Because they were committed to an idea. How much time do I have? Because, I'm so far over time. 10 minutes. 1,929 people, just enough for me to go into my final form. Yeah, I know there's a time of night where I could just take these off at this point. There's a time of night where I get into that phase. But on a serious tip, the most difficult thing that I have ever had to come across and fight against are people who have had false epiphanies. An epiphany, like the light goes off in their head. I call everybody who I interview, I call them a friend after I've interviewed. If I've interviewed you once, you are my friend. Anand Girdadas. He's definitely my friend because I know how to pronounce his last name. That's an accomplishment. He calls it false consciousness. I call it false epiphanies. The hardest thing to, and I promise you, wow, this really dovetails the whole conversation in a really meaningful way. The coalition that we have to form to defeat Donald Trump is a coalition of people who either never had or have been set free from, but they are independent and free moral agents who are not bound to a false consciousness / a false epiphany. It's all going to make sense if you just give me about 5 more minutes of your time. The most difficult thing I have ever had to fight in the black community, whether it be black church, I grew up in black church. I know I'm bald now, but I used to go to the black barbershops all the time. I even went to just go get my beard done, but now I had to learn how to do it. I think I did a pretty good job. But the black barbershop, the black beauty salons. This is not endemic to the black community. I'm just from the black community. The hardest thing that I've ever had to fight is against a false epiphany. Someone who has had the light bulb go off with false information. Someone who, a charlatan, a grifter, a huckster, a manipulator, a propagandist for evil, got to first. And they got to them with information that made them have the sensation in their mind like an aha moment. Like for once in their life, things made sense. If we don't get to those people first, somebody else got to them, whether it be through a YouTube channel. No disrespect to my YouTube viewers. Thank you for being here. Whether it be through getting the barber at your barbershop, whether it be through your uncle who's always watching Fox News, wherever that source of false epiphany came from, whoever gets to them first and they have that sense, the sensation. It's like a light bulb going off. It's like something just came from the recesses of your mind, from your consciousness, and just your brain feels like it just explodes. And those are synapses connecting, and you're creating this new part of your consciousness, and it is reserved for whatever information triggered it. QAnon, for millions, I'm talking about a lot of people, QAnon was a false revelation, a false epiphany, and a false consciousness that served as a stimulant along the lines of an epiphany. All of a sudden, people who had never had a meaningful epiphany in their life to compare it to, all of a sudden it was like their lights were going off and they were like, oh, this is really, and it gave them a sense of purpose and it gave them a sense of wokeness, like their eyes had been closed and now they're open, and now they start looking at the rest of us who can see clearly the grift of QAnon. We can clearly see how malevolent that entire thing, that the politicians and the celebrities, oh, by the way, it was never a Republican politician. Notice how it was never Donald Trump, who also flew on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet and went to Jeffrey Epstein. It was always pointed towards Democrats. And they began to believe in their heart with the sense of conviction, with the religiosity, with the level of commitment, even unto death. They were willing to go and kill people and kidnap. They literally did kill somebody, and they literally did kidnap people because they were so committed to this false consciousness, this false epiphany. And this coalition that we are building to defeat Trump, it's not just QAnon that has a false consciousness and false epiphanies, y'all. There are some black people who reject QAnon, but they accept the idea that Donald Trump is somehow a revolutionary figure who's going to change the world for the better. It includes this coalition, Trump's coalition, because the best way for us to define our coalition is for us to define Donald Trump's coalition. And I need people to understand Donald Trump is actually going to get a bigger percentage demographic wise than any Republican has probably ever gotten. He's going to get more Latino votes. He's going to get more black votes as a percentage. He's getting LGBTQ votes. It's not going to be enough to win. But when you look at the breakdown of his coalition, it is going to be diverse. And that's because Donald Trump is the lead propagandist. He is the one who will play into QAnon conspiracy theories. He's the one who will tell you that he's the best thing that ever happened to the black community, never mind the fact that he's literally only made empty promises and that's it. He's enriched a handful of black people like Candace Owens and that's it, right? This is who he is. He knows how to capitalize on that. So his coalition is going to be extremely diverse. Sweet Pea, go to bed. My daughter's sitting there watching me. His coalition is going to be extremely diverse because his coalition plays on false consciousness, false epiphanies, people who feel like they are woke when in reality they are blind as a bat. People who will look at you and say that you are a sheep when they are being led to the slaughter. Literally dying on behalf of their leader, but they look at us and say that we are sheep. People who look at the sky and will fight you to the death if Donald Trump tells them that it's green and that the grass is blue. But the projection and the confidence that they have is one of a person who has had a genuine epiphany, a genuine revelation, a person who can look soberly at not only at earth and their place in this society and civilization, but they can look with clear eyes about everything that's going on around us. It does not mean that we are inherently good. I say this every night and I'm going to keep saying it. It does not mean that we are always right, because we're not. It does not mean that we have all the answers, because we don't. Hell, this coalition is tenuous at best. It was why I'm doing what I got to do to make sure that we understand the nature of this coalition so that we don't rip each other apart at the threads before we even get to election day to get rid of this fascist. So clearly it doesn't mean that I'm always right and that you are always right. But it does mean that at a minimum, we have not been seduced by the false epiphanies and the false consciousness that is inundating Donald Trump's coalition. They believe they are right as rain. They believe that everyone else is blind. So thank you to that commenter for actually bringing into focus. The universe sent you, right? In church, we would say he's an on-time God, right? But you came right in time for me to be able to bring this entire episode, this entire stream together in the exact way that it needed to be brought together. And it actually clarified for me what I thought I wanted to talk about, but I hadn't really put it into words. But now here we are. And here's the deal. I cannot believe that I picked that up. Out of all the things that I could have picked up from Joe Biden, I picked up, here's the deal. The hell is wrong with me? Bae, are you going to divorce me? Yeah, you need to leave me. Here's the deal, Jack. While I do not think that we are inherently good, I don't think that we are always right. I have to constantly reject that notion, because if we buy into that, then we do become a cult. Then we do become sheep. If we automatically assume that everything that we do is right and everything that they do is wrong, then we are pretty much not better than them. But in this way, we are distinguished from them, because we are not buying into the false prophet that is Donald Trump. We are not buying into all of the demented and sadistic ways that they have to embrace and not embrace. Let me start that. All the ways they have to reject their humanity. I may not always be right, and I may get something. Hell, I tweeted something today that was insensitive, and I didn't even think, I thought it was a good tweet. I deleted it as soon as somebody brought it to my attention. I'll tell you about it just so that you get to understand, like, I don't always get it right. This might not even be important to you. It might be minute, but as a person who thrives on my communication skills, it does bother me that I didn't see it. When I found out that Stephen Miller got COVID-19, I said, looks like COVID is Antifa. And somebody corrected me in that thread and said, Ben, too many people have died to make this joke. That's the sentiment of it. Nope, I deleted it, and I'm sharing it with you as a way of saying that I don't even get it all right. I don't care how good I am at what I do. I'm pretty good, but I don't always get it right. And I am an asshole. And I think we have to embrace the fact that we're not going to always be right, because it is critical that we see ourselves clearly, that we can hear our own voice. You ever listen to your voice on tape and you're like, is that how I really sound? Ooh, I hate my voice. Yeah, that's how you sound. And you got to be able to hear how you really sound, see how you really look, know that your breath stinks. Isn't it funny how some people who have the worst breath cannot tell that they're you got to know our own flaws, or else we will buy into our own hype and we will become the exact monsters that we seek to oppose. But we are different in this regard. We have not had to reject our humanity to justify the sadistic death cult that conservatism has become. Now, we got to deal with neoliberalism. We got to deal with the military industrial complex. We got to deal with American imperialism. And we have to deal with the greed that is at the core of our system. And I will never stop fighting against those things. But anybody who is listening to me, at a bare minimum, no matter what you do that is wrong, no matter what you get wrong, no matter what you have to be corrected about, no matter how many times you've gotten shamed, no matter how many tweets you've had to delete, no matter what you've gotten wrong, you have not had to actively reject your humanity to justify supporting Donald Trump. In fact, the reason our coalition has to win, the reason it has to work, is because our humanity requires that we make the sacrifices, like supporting somebody like Joe Biden, even though I see him as somebody I would normally oppose. The humanity in me requires that I do everything humanly possible, short of getting arrested by the Secret Service, to get rid of Donald Trump. That's what my humanity requires. And we're dealing with a group of people who reject that humanity and make justifications. I don't mean this figuratively. I don't mean this in some kind of cute rhetorical way to make me sound like a great orator. I know I'm good at what I do. I am not. I don't tell you things to impress you. I tell you things to cut to the core of the matter because they have rejected their humanity when they make excuses. For the women who have had forced hysterectomies, they have rejected their humanity. When they make excuses for George Floyd being killed by the police with the knee in his neck, and they try to blame it. They try to blame it on the fact that he was using drugs. They rejected a piece of their humanity. When they try to justify the murder of Breonna Taylor so that they can maintain their worldview, they look at us and tell us she earned that. She was completely innocent. They say that she earned it. They reject their humanity so that they can protect their worldview. My humanity is telling me that I have got to be willing to lose supporters. I have got to be willing to lose my perception of being the coolest leftist in the game, the dopest leftist podcast in the game. Fine. But I don't have to reject my humanity in order to make excuses for supporting directly or indirectly a man who is bringing us to the brink of destruction. I don't have to turn a blind eye to George Floyd. I don't have to turn a blind eye to Breonna Taylor. I don't have to turn a blind eye to the women who are having forced hysterectomies. I don't have to turn a blind eye to our comrade, Michael Reinhold. I don't have to turn a blind eye to the fact that these so-called Christians raised $1.5 million for Ken Rittenhouse after he killed two of our comrades in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I don't have to turn a blind eye to any of those things. In fact, it is the fact that I can't turn a blind eye to those things that makes me willing to use my voice and my platform in a way that I otherwise would never use it to support Joe Biden. Never, ever. But I'm willing to make that sacrifice because my humanity is telling me that Donald Trump y'all have lost your humanity so much that you justify the deaths of 210,000 people. That you will explain away their death. I'm sorry, my co-host, he told me, this is why I'm going running with them at 6 in the morning. And he said, Ben, we got to do the funny show in the morning. We got to do the fun show in the morning because sometimes at night you get a little gloom and doom. And I try to be inspirational and hopeful as I can. But when the truth is as ugly as a percentage of this country sacrificing their humanity so much so that they would explain away and blame the deaths of 210,000 people on the fact that, they were overweight. They had diabetes. They had heart problems. They had problems that our technology could have kept them alive till they were 91 if it had not been for COVID-19. But we're dealing with people who have sacrificed their humanity and rejected their humanity so much so that they find it necessary and they are willing to ignore the 210. In fact, to put us in the exact position to lose even more. This coalition is not one that is right all the time. It is not one that I even agree with politically probably 75% of the time. I don't think I can even give you guys 75%. Okay, let's say 75, 25. I agree with you 75% of the time, 25% of the time I don't. We don't always get it right. We're not going to always agree. Our politics are a mix. It is ugly. But you know what? Here's what we agree on. We are not going to reject our humanity to justify supporting someone who is definitively a cult leader. someone who preys on the vulnerable, someone who is more than happy to give you the sense of false consciousness and the false epiphany along the lines of QAnon, who will play with conspiracy theories because he knows once that infects the mind of a person, it's hard to break free of it. I don't think everyone who's in QAnon is a monster. I think they have been preyed on. And the biggest predator of them all in 2020 is Donald Trump. That's our coalition. It's a coalition of the willing, but it might even be begrudgingly. But it's a coalition of people whose humanity requires us that we get rid of Donald Trump. Now, sorry for the dramatics. Sorry. It's just a thing. Twitch, who do we decide? Twitch, give me in the comments section. I'm going to try to read a couple more. That's it. Show's over. Stream's going to end in about 15 minutes. As soon as I figure out who, I'm going to read the rest of the super chats. If you want to get the podcast, my podcast is super dope. Go to iTunes, look up Benjamin Dixon. It is a soulful experience. I am super proud of the music on my podcast. We deal with politics in between soul music. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. iTunes, look up Benjamin Dixon or go to thebenjamindixonshow.com where you can become a patron. Let's figure out who we're going to do a raid. A raid is something that happens on Twitch. And on Twitch, we send everybody who's listening to the show right now to the stream. I don't want to call it a show. I don't want to call this a show. We send them over to somebody else's stream. I saw my man, Jeff. I don't know, Jeff, if you are going to do a stream, we could have dumped them off to you. But we're going to do that. So, and I'm going to read some super chats and then we're out of here because I need to be asleep because I'm going to be going running at, and we're going to stream that too because shit, we ain't got nothing else to do in this pandemic. We're going to be running at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on all the platforms. And we're just going to run for 30 minutes. And however far you can get in 30 minutes, you can run in place at home, run in place in your garage. You can, if you got a treadmill, run on your treadmill. If it's safe in your neighborhood and you can get out there and run with a mask on, then do that. But I got to go to bed. Let me get over to the comments. Shout outs. Let's get these shout outs in here. Moni Love said, not of COVID. Oh, wow. Belky Hernandez. Thank you for this. I really appreciate the super chat. Belky said, thank you, brother. First thing we have to do is live to fight another day. We got to. Thank you, Belky. Jerry Ty, thank you so much for the super chat. No comment, but I see the super chat. Thank you. Roy Wildman says, I love your intellect, brother. Thank you. It does do a body good to be able to make people proud. I think that's one of my favorite things about this is when people who have known me for years send me a message and just say that they appreciate my work. It does a body good. So thank you for that. Ron said, not trying to be snarky, but a lot of progressives faced ridicule for identifying Trump as a huge threat back in 2015. We have to be smarter. Yep. And I appreciate the preface of that, saying you're not trying to be snarky. But it's true. It's true. It's not wrong, Ron. Thank you for that super chat. Mr. Fantastic, thank you for that super chat. Charles Wilson, super chat says, I get what you're saying and I don't fault you, but I can't vote to replace a racist war criminal Republican with another racist war criminal Republican. I appreciate you listening. And I hope that something I said will change your mind eventually. But if not, hey, it's cool. It's cool. I made my case and you made yours. Mary Beth O'Neill sent in a super chat just to send it in. I see you and I thank you, Mary Beth. Dustin Brown, a super chat for people who are wondering is how you make comments on YouTube that are put at the top and they stay long enough for me to be able to read them. Otherwise, the comments kind of go by fast. Dustin Brown says voting for Biden equals enabling activists and people in Congress on the left to fight for progress and not simply to fight to not go backwards. Don't delete that yet. Y'all are really efficient producers. Thank you, but don't delete that one yet. Dustin Brown, I want to read it again. I want to read it slowly. Voting for Biden equals enabling activists and people in Congress on the left to fight for progress and not simply fight to not go backwards. The fight against Amy Coney Barrett is a fight to not go backwards. We want to be able to fight to at least make some steps forward. Franz Pierre said he's just sending in his support. Thank you, Franz. Belky Hernandez sent in another super chat. If people analyze politics as closely as they analyze sports, we would be in a better shape. We would be in better shape. Yeah, just so long as the sports commentators are not the ones giving the political analysis, because then we'll be in worse shape. At least conservative sports radio. That dominates the radio, period. But yes, I agree. Fadi Antoine, sorry, Fadi. Thank you for the super chat. People that are already part of a cult assume everyone else is their own cult. I've absolutely love when I give these long rants and these long tangents explaining the intricacies as I see them, only for somebody to send in a chat that summarizes everything that I said in like less than 140 characters. I am never threatened or offended by anyone else's brilliance. I actually thank you for sharing that brilliance, because it is well put and well said. People who are already in a cult think that everyone who's not a part of their cult is actually the cult. Brilliant. Benny Loco said, those of us in their right mind are all works in progress. Thank you for saying that. Gasterson's X says, agreed 100%. Thank you. Black Corvo said, of course, they're not always right. They're the left. Wordplay aside. that I got a kick out of that, Black Corvo. Thank you. Wordplay aside, as much as I prefer other options, I'll always take survival over certain doom. Yes. Fadi, thank you again. Praise on the vulnerable and celebrates it. It's weak to show empathy. In that world, you're absolutely right. Have I talked about Tulsi and AOC tonight? I missed that. I missed the start. No, I'm not going to talk about Tulsi. Tulsi Gabbard. I tweeted about it this morning. I only sent out one tweet. Tulsi represents a faction of the left that is actually to the right. I don't believe in the horseshoe theory so much as I think people gain power through the guise of being progressives, when in reality, at the end of the day, they were never progressive to begin with. Let me see if I can get all the rest of these super chats. Felicity said, RIP Howard. I don't want to mispronounce the last name. This is important. Guidry Jr. Felicity, you don't have to send in another super chat, but can you just send my producers, just put it in the chat room. Give me the phonetic spelling of that. I don't want to say it wrong. Untested, uncounted. I'll come back to that when I can get the right pronunciation of the last name. Robert M. Hey now, from Mina the Cat. Thank you, Robert. Carrie Jones F. The cult comment was read wrong. She was talking about Trumpers being a cult. Sorry you got worked up. Yeah, no, I figured it's a possibility that like either it wasn't precise or it was just read wrong on my part. But since it was read wrong, let me thank her, seriously, not tongue in cheek, but thankfully I read it wrong because it did help me solidify the main point. And it wasn't about me getting worked up so much as the lack of humanity always makes my blood boil. And it is the rejection of humanity that is required to support Donald Trump when he has shown us every way he will destroy human life. It is the rejection of humanity that, well, will bring out the darkest side of me. But more importantly than that is the fact that those of us who are making sacrifices to be a part of this coalition, we're doing it because our humanity demands it. So that's why I always make sure I say I could have read this wrong, but I'm glad I did. And thank you for sending it exactly the way you did, because it actually really solidified the point for us. Thank you for this, Tannen loves his acts. This is a great question. Have you ever considered that Trump isn't as bad as you make him out to be? You have a platform. Shouldn't you be be as little rhetoric using as little rhetoric? The way this cuts off is the sentences are like I'm reading across. Little rhetoric as possible. You tell me, Tannen loves his acts. Forced hysterectomies. Undermining our democracy literally by undermining mail-in ballots when he uses mail-in ballots. Saying that he won't commit to a peaceful transition of power. Asking 50,000 of his supporters to join the Trump Army, literally the domain, Trump Army. That's the web domain that they go to, and they're joining the Trump Army in order to observe and watch the elections to see if there's any irregularities. Telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. Inflaming white supremacist rhetoric and divisions. I don't even have to go down the list of that. Making decisions to intentionally downplay COVID-19, intentionally politicizing wearing a mask, calling it politically incorrect. Or rather, let me be precise, because I don't want to be accused of using rhetoric. He told the reporter, mocked the reporter and say, oh, you want to be politically correct. That's why you won't take your mask off. Politicizing wearing a mask when we could have saved so many lives if we had just worn masks. Shall we go on? Today, saying that he's going to not even talk about doing another bailout for the American people until after the election. Which, if he loses, you know he's a baby enough to not talk about it at that point. Intentionally putting the lives of Secret Service agents at risk, needlessly so. They'd be happy to take a bullet for him, but they don't want to have to take COVID-19 for him when he could have just done what's necessary to keep them safe. I mean, we can really go on and do this one for a little while. So let me ask you, Tannen loves his acts. You don't have to send in another super chat. My producers will see your comment. Have you ever considered that Trump is as bad as I make him out to be? I have a platform, and I'm not using rhetoric. I'm using specific examples to demonstrate to you why Donald Trump is as bad as I make him out to be, and worse. So the real question I want to ask you is, how much of your humanity do you have to reject in order to not think that he's that bad? Timothy Close says, I've been teaching in Vietnam since the start of this pandemic. It is astounding how pathetic and horrifying the world finds our COVID response. Kiki Mercier said, if Trump does not go, I will find a way that I do. Belinda Hoff said, if you write in Bernie, you will be throwing away your vote. Nove8R1 says, sends in a super sticker, I think it's a super sticker, right? Saying, you are amazing. Thank you. You're amazing. Fadi said, throwing this in here, literally telling the squad to go back where they came from. My real question for you is, how much of your humanity do you have to reject to not see that he's a Nazi? Now that was a little rhetorical spin. All right, who do we decide? Where are we going? Where are we going for the raid? Let's see. Duke Hollis, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Unbelievable. Thank you, Duke. Irie42 gifted another tier 1 sub. They've given 5 gift subs on our channel so far. Azaziel 8 gifted a tier 1 sub. Thank you for that. Irie Man gifted another one for a total of 7 gift subs. Irie Man, I appreciate that, man. That's love. Duke Hollis is over there cheering. Left Flank Vets is cheering. No, we got raided. Hey. We got raided by Left Flank Vets. How about that? We're getting ready to do a raid ourselves, and Left Flank Vets just brought in 86 people into our chat. Thank you, Left Flank Vets. Can everybody in every chat, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook or whether you're on Twitch, especially if you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, give a shout out to Left Flank Vets. They came in with 86 people and raided our stream, and much love to you all. Thank you so much. That's love. And somebody underneath there subscribed at a tier 1 level. Who is this? This is, oh, wow, Left Flank Research. They subscribed at tier 1 level. All right, I appreciate that. And they gifted, wow, y'all are out here doing the damn thing. Thank you. They gifted a tier 1 sub, and they gifted 2 tier 1 subs, and they cheered. Okay, so if you rated us, that means your stream is over, but we're going to come see you all. We're not going to tell you when. I want it to be a surprise. But definitely go over there and subscribe to their channel and follow them, Left Flank Vets. Thank you. Give me where are we going? Where are we going tonight? Oh, we're rating GXG platform. All right. So the stream is over. The stream is over. We're just hanging out. How many people we have left? I'm always curious how many people like just stay to the very, very, very end. We got 1,400 people who are staying to the very end. Now, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, you're not going to see the raid. But just know that everybody's getting hype over on Twitch. They're starting the excitement is building up. We know where we're going. I'm getting ready to put in the little cha-cha-cha-cha and tell the computer where to send them. And then how many people do we have on Twitch right now? Where's my phone? I imagine we have 86 plus. So at least 86 people that just came over in the raid are getting ready to be raiding another platform. It is like the ultimate show of love and solidarity. So let me go to Twitch. We're going to GXG platform. You guys be sure to tell them that I sent you over there and give them some love. And before I send everybody away, can I just say one last thing? I promise you it's going to be short. To the super chat that says, sorry, I got worked up over it. I just want to say, I'm always angry. I mean that in the Hulk sense. I mean that in Avengers 1 scene. That's the secret. My secret is that I am always angry. To be black in this country and to be, I'm going to mess up the quote, but to have a modicum of wokeness is to be constantly at a state of rage. I'm always angry. So for the 90% of the night that it's fun, it's work. I'm bottling up my rage monster all of the time. And I'm only saying that because I don't want anyone to feel like they were responsible for me getting angry and worked up. Because the truth of the matter is I am an angry black man. I am a very angry black man. And I think we got a reason to be angry. But I also know that we need love and some solidarity and some kindness. And we need to take care of ourselves. So that's why we're going running in the morning. And the show that comes after that at 8 a.m., we're going to be broadcasting. It's nothing but laughs and shits and giggles. And we're talking about politics in the most fun way imaginable. But we do get angry over there too, because we're 3 angry black men. All right, I'm on Twitch. Let's do this. Let's Let's go. I need to go to my video producer. No, I need to go to my creator dashboard. No, I'm here. I'm in this right place. Go to my stream manager. See if I could do this from memory. Hey, everybody in the chat. Hey, everybody in the chat. And now I am going to give you all a link. Here we go. Hey, somebody, can you guys put in GIFs? I don't know how you pronounce it. Can you guys put in GIFs over there? If you can, somebody needs to get the Here We Go GIF going from Jeff Goldblum on the thing. Okay, you can't. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to raid. So I'm gonna do 4, but I need to give you a link, don't I? Here we go. Let me give you my. Tell them. There you go. That's the link I want you to send to them. Let them know we sent you. And we are going to GXG platform. Y'all tell them I said hello. How many people are in our stream right now? Where do I see my count? I gotta be easy to see my count. Okay, we got 169 people in here right now. Here we go. /raid. Here we go. 168, 169. See you later, Twitch. Thank you, Black Corvo. I will take you up on that. We have 128 who are ready to raid. And here we go. I love it. Everybody else who's still here, did it work? Oh, I got it. What do I got to do? Hang on. Do I have to hit unhost or something? Wait, no, what did I do? Hang on. I did something wrong. Let's do it again. It was so dope too. Raid. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Let's send that. What did I do wrong? Why didn't it worked last night? I know, I swear it never happens. No, okay, no, everybody else went. Okay, there's only a handful of people left. Oh, come on. Did I mess this up? I think I messed it up, folks. Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. One more time for the road. This is hilarious. I am a boomer. I am a Generation Xer trying to figure this out. Oh, it worked. It worked. Yeah, here we go. There we go. We're sending one last one. We're going. Bye, everybody. Let me come back over here to everybody on. Let's see how many people we have left on the main stream. We still got 1,300 people. Why are y'all still here? Go to bed. Y'all are here because y'all laughing at me. It's 11:30. Good. You're there and now you're back. Come here, Lizzie. Thank you. Who is that? Lee. Come over. She knows she's supposed to be asleep. Hang on. Let me just check Twitch one more time to see if anybody got pushed back. Let's try one more again for the road. You're going to say, don't you say nothing mean this time to them. Okay? Yesterday, my daughter said, bye, losers. She is my daughter. There, come on over. You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't want to? All right, go get into bed then. Good night. Go get into bed. All right, that's a wrap, folks. I'm going to bed. I'll see y'all at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going running. Now we're down to 1,000. All right, I feel better about disconnecting with 1,000 people. Good night, folks.